Here we go with week 7 of the Summer Yoga series using Barbara Bowden Taylor's book, An Altar in the World. And this week's theme is vocation, or living with purpose, working with purpose. It's kind of a continuation of week 6, community, in that it's about really being our best selves for the world. Or as Barbara Brown Taylor says, she says, it means receiving the human condition as blessing and not curse, in all its achingly frail and redemptive reality. So we're going to kind of keep it simple and think about the things in our body on the mat and pay attention to them in ways that honor them. There's a saying, which you can't really find the source of, but it's how we do anything is how we do everything. And so this practice is an opportunity to give your hands and feet and shoulders and spine and hips some love. And in the middle of it, we're also going to do Kapalabhati breath, or breath of fire, which is one that increases our strength and energy and resolve, but also can make us more mindful of how we do things. So I invite you to sit up tall. I'm sitting on a block, so honestly, to get my knees down below my hips, which is the goal when we're sitting, I need to elevate my hips off the ground. So I invite you to do that too. You could even start this sitting in a chair. So pull your low belly in, roll your shoulders up, back and down. Feel your spine nice and long. Close your eyes and just start to follow your breath. You could rest one hand on your belly. Make sure that it's filling on the inhale. Drawing toward the spine on the exhale. So another way of thinking about vocation is living with intention. It doesn't matter so much what we're doing, but how we approach the work. So as you set your intention, perhaps it's cultivating a quality, some that we've talked about, maybe back to those yamas, do no harm, be truthful, etc. Or the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, self-control, faithfulness. Or perhaps you want to focus on energy or intelligence. So set your intention, your purpose for this practice. And then float your eyes open and inhale, just gently look to one side. Exhaling through center, inhale, look to the other side. Exhale to center. Inhale, if it's safe for your neck, look up. And then exhaling, drop your chin to your chest. And roll your shoulders up, back, and down again. So starting by paying attention to our hands, right? Maybe just make some fists and spread your palms wide. A couple more times. Then shake your wrists out. So staying tall in the spine. And then press your index fingers and thumb together. Just notice what you feel. And then your middle finger and your thumb. And then your pinky finger. Your ring finger. And then your pinky finger. And then press all 5 fingers together. And release. And then we're just going to fold our fingers back. So start with the thumb and the index finger. Sending your hands some love for all the work that they do. Middle finger. If there's any tightness or pain, use your breath. Ring finger. And then pinky finger. And just for a moment, hold your hands out and notice if one feels different than the other. And then we'll do the other hand. So thumb, index, middle, ring finger, and pinky. Good, and then hold both hands out and bring them together at your heart center. So next we're going to move to our knees. So we are going to stand up and sit down once. So, sorry, did I say our knees? Our feet. So start with one foot, right? Just hold it out in front of you, however that works. Right? Just going to give it some love. Wiggle the toes. Press into the ball of the foot. Massage the arch. Squeeze the heel. Maybe tap that heel. So tons of receptors, nerves in our feet. Just get them alive and get them moving. Maybe tap the top. And then I'm going to invite you to come to standing. Do so safely, right? So one knee over the foot. Right? And just stand up and see if you notice the difference between one foot and the other. So I can look down and see that my feet are actually kind of a little bit of a different shade. It's like a little more circulation in the foot that I massaged, and also much more surface of the underside of the foot feels like it's in contact with the floor. So that's what we're going for, because that's our foundation in yoga. But we got to sit down and do the other foot. So get there safely, right? One knee down, have a seat back on your block, a chair, and start the other foot. Start with the toes and the ball of the foot. Remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. So show your feet some love and mean it. Maybe massage the heel. Give it some tapping. Maybe tap the top. And then once again, standing up. Come to Tadasana again. And just notice if that evened it out. Feels great, right? Okay, we're going to sit down one more time. All this getting up and sitting down is good for us too. All right, I'm going to come off the block for this. So we're going to just work on warming our spine. So sit up really tall, and we'll make those circles with our rib cage like you're touching the sides of a barrel. So maybe start small, and then start to get a little bigger, maybe involving the shoulders, the head, the neck. Try and root your hips, keep your low belly pulling in. Arching forward slightly, hollowing out as you go back. Come to the front. So that direction you turn first, I'm going to invite you to fold in that direction, resting one hand down and slowly and gently going straight to the side. Maybe you look down at your hand, then gaze up at your fingertips. Do that again. And then inhaling, come on back up. And we'll circle in the other direction. So rib cage around, start slowly. Exhale into any tight place. Then start to make it a little bigger. Couple more times. All right, come around to the front. Stack your shoulders over your hips and in the direction that you went first, folding to that side. And maybe changing your gaze a couple of times. Inhaling, come on back up. Swing your feet to one side. We'll do an easy seated spinal twist. So get really, really tall and exhale, twist away from your feet. Couple of deep breaths here. Make sure that the back of your neck is nice and long, like somebody's pulling up through the crown of your head. Good. Then swing your feet around safely. Maybe give your legs a shake. And we'll go to the other side. So moving the spine in all 6 directions. Good, come on back to neutral. So there's a variety of ways that you can be seated to do Kapalabhati breath, or breath of fire. Traditionally, you'd sit on your heels, right? And you're really pulling your pelvic floor up to support your spine. If that's not available to you, you could stick a block between your hips, so that's what I'm going to choose. So you could sit on your block or sit up in a chair, but again, we want our knees to be below our hips so that you have the freedom in your trunk to do this. So this breath of fire has some contraindications, or you shouldn't do it if you're pregnant or you have any serious conditions, heart conditions, respiratory conditions, or serious spinal problems, okay? So it is basically an inhale and exhale of the same length with no pause in between, and you're pulling your low belly in on the exhale. So I talk about belly filling on the inhale. I'll turn sideways so you can see. So it's going to look like inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, right? We want to keep our spine long. So maybe we'll do this for about 30 seconds slowly, and then we'll try to go a little faster. So it's just very short inhales and exhales. So inhale, and then exhale, 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 exhale. Three more. So let it go for a moment. So you notice that I was exhaling out through my nose, keeping my mouth closed through the whole thing. So we might try and speed that up a little bit, right? So inhaling, and then exhale. Spine long. Five more. And just let it go. So you could really feel your belly muscles working. Sometimes there might be a little bit of dizziness at the end. Just let your body settle. So you could work up to maybe a minute or more of that. So again, it's just kind of great for cultivating resolve and mindfulness and good energy. So come to all fours, all right? And then we're going to curl our toes under. Find your top of a push-up plank. And then exhale to downward facing dog. So one more chance to just check in with our feet. I invite you to take your right foot, bend your knee, and put the top of your foot on the mat. And then pull your belly in and inhale. Work on straightening that leg. You'll feel a nice stretch in the top of the foot. Gently release. Again, you can see that change in the coloring. Then put the top of your left foot on the mat. Inhaling, lift your hips a little. Work on straightening the leg. Get that stretch in the top of the foot. And then come on back to down dog. So we're going to start to check in with our knees a little bit here. So squeeze your upper arms together. Again, you could be holding onto a chair here. And then slowly and gently drop your knees toward the mat. And inhale, lift up. Exhaling, knees toward the mat. Go only as far as you can safely. Inhaling, lift up. And again, exhaling, knees to the mat. And then inhaling, lift up. Drop your heels, and then look at your thumbs and walk your feet in to meet your hands. You can have a block if it's helpful. We're going to keep our feet 2 fist widths apart, right? Go back to that sensation of having as much of the bottom of your foot engaged with the mat as you can. And then once again, soften your knees, sitting down into that chair pose. So strengthening the muscles around our knees, just noticing how they feel. Maybe you sweep your arms up. And then exhaling your hands to your heart center, we'll take a twist in each direction. So pull the low belly in, forearm on the outside of the thigh, or maybe the elbow. Keep your feet rooted, weight centered equally over both ankles. That'll keep your knees in line. Take a break if you need, or stay in your chair pose and twist to the other side. And then gently release and come right up to standing, straightening those knees, feeling nice and rooted, exhaling your hands to your heart, Tadasana. So another opportunity to explore our knee joint, get into the legs. We'll take a big wide straddle, and then turn toes out, heel to arch alignment, right? For warrior two. So exhaling, take that knee right over the middle of the foot. Nice wide stance. Maybe straightening and bending a couple of times. Push into the outer edge of that back foot. That'll help protect that knee. And then if it feels safe for your knee and hip, stay for 3 breaths. Lots of energy out through the arms. Again, remembering how you do anything is how you do everything. So we just practice well as best we can. Good. Inhaling, straighten up, turn your toes in, and we'll go right to the other side. So softening and straightening at first. Barbara Brown Taylor tells a great story about doing laundry, hanging wash on the line. So even that is an opportunity to practice with purpose. Few breaths. Inhaling, come on back up, turn your toes in, so safely heel toe your way back to get your feet underneath you. So here's another opportunity to explore the knees and the hip. Nice, tall, Tadasana position, bring your hands to your heart and find your tree pose. So keep that length in the standing leg. Maybe your foot goes to the calf, maybe your hips feeling open, and you'd like to bring your heel to the inner thighs. Just no weight in the knee. Maybe you want to take your fingertips up. Use your drishti, your focal point, something that's not moving. And feel that whole bottom of the foot in connection with the ground. And when you're ready, come on out of it. Shake it out a little bit. We'll go to the other side. So one-legged balances are also another way to practice an important thing, which is non-attachment to the results. All right, so we're not concerned with the outcome of our practice. We just stick with the practice. So there's that saying that to get into a pose makes you human, or to fall out of a pose makes you human. To get back in makes you a yogi. Remember, every day is different. And exhaling, gently release and walk it out. Okay, so I have a shoulder stretch practice. We give our shoulders a little bit of love here and just pay attention to them. You might just want to watch because you'll have to go to a wall and you may have to turn away from your camera. So this are the 3 steps. You take your toes close to the wall and take one arm straight up. That's step 1. Step 2 is to turn sideways. Away from that arm, you push your palm into the wall, and then you exhale, drop your hips down, you get a nice stretch in that shoulder joint. So find a wall or a door frame and do that. Walk your feet in, walk your elbow up the wall, then press your hand into the wall, then turn away, and exhale, drop down into your knees a little bit. Get that nice deep shoulder stretch. And then inhaling, come on back to center. Take that arm behind you so that it's just above shoulder height. And then see if you can turn your body more toward the center of your space, away from your hand. Fingers spread wide, hand pushing into the wall. Then if you wanted to go a little bit deeper, you could think about peeling your fingertips away and you get a nice forearm stretch. Some pretty simple stuff. Great ways to honor your body and practice with purpose. Exhaling, go ahead and let go, and notice the difference between one arm and the other. Right, so we'll do the other side. 3 steps. Walk your toes toward the wall, bring your elbow up close to the wall, then push the hand into the wall as you straighten your arm, and then turn away. So facing sideways, and then exhale, drop your knees. Keep pushing your hand into the wall so your hand doesn't move. Release any tension in your jaw. And don't forget to breathe. Good. So straighten your legs, walk your arm behind you so it's just above shoulder height, and then see if you can turn away from the wall. Oh, feels so good. And maybe you peel your fingertips away and feel it in your forearm. And exhaling, gently release, shake it out. Okay, so we've paid attention to our hands and our feet and our knees and our hips and shoulders. We're going to finish with just one more hip stretch, pigeon pose. So take one leg straight back, getting that high lunge so you can come to all fours. So there's 2 different ways to do this. You could do it on your legs, which I'm going to do, or I'll show you this modification before I get into it. So it's basically a number 4 stretch on your back, right, where you cross one ankle, keep this toe, this foot flex will help protect the knee. So that's pigeon on your back. If you want to get onto your legs, start on all fours. Bring your knee outside your wrist, then walk your other knee way back so you have room to rotate your foot forward. So your shin gets more parallel to the mat. If your hips are tight, you could tuck a block under your pelvis. All right, so we want to keep the body weight along the midline. Walk your back leg way back. You might start by making your spine long. And remember, shouldn't be any pain anywhere. This is a place where we don't want to dive in too deeply. Fold your body forward, keep your spine long. Several breaths here. So this is a great pose to do last. They say we carry a lot of emotions in our hip. It's a good place to let go of your ego. And often with what we're doing in the world, our ego gets in the way because we have some preconceived notion about the value of the task that we're doing. Whether it's washing dishes or hanging laundry or running a corporation. So go slowly. Maybe you can go a little more deeply for 3 more breaths. Again, not attaching to the results. Just safely let go. And if you folded forward, use your hands to bring you back up. If you're on your back, uncross and draw your knees into your chest. And we'll get ready to go to the other side. So take the other knee outside the wrist or cross the ankle over your thigh. And we walk the back leg back on your legs so that you can bring this shin a little more forward. Body weight stays on the midline. Spine stays long as you settle in. And safely transition from where you are onto your back. So if you're on your knees, shift your hips to one side, bring your feet forward, and roll yourself down onto the mat. Maybe for a moment you want to take your arms out to the side and just feel the openness in your chest and your shoulders. Then on an exhale, cross your elbows right up by your nose like you're giving yourself a hug. Feel your feet rooted. Inhaling, take your arms up in front of your fingers pointing toward the ceiling. Exhale, switch the cross of the elbows. And then release your hands back down by your hips, perhaps palms facing up. Just receiving all the good energy you've cultivated. Maybe you want to keep your knees bent. Maybe you want to stretch your legs out. Maybe you want to take legs up the wall or your lower legs on the chair. So just settling in for the most important pose of all, honoring your body with a Shavasana. Nothing to do till you hear my voice again. Then perhaps wiggle those fingers and toes or make fists and spread the fingers wide like we did at the beginning. Get yourself moving. Eventually, safely bending the knees, perhaps drawing them into the chest so you can roll to one side. Push yourself up to seated. So sitting for a moment, maybe hands on your knees, palms facing up. So as you go out to whatever work you have to do in the world, remember you can always use that Kapalabhati breath to strengthen your resolve, to do your work well. The point is to find something that feeds your sense of purpose and to be willing to look low for that purpose as well as high. It may be chopping wood and it may be running a corporation. Whatever it is, perhaps you will hold open the possibility that doing it is one way to learn what it means to become more fully human. And as you press beyond being good to being good for something, in a world with a perfect job for someone just like you. As you inhale, get long and bring your hands to your heart center again. Exhaling, bowing your head to your heart, honoring yourself as you go out into the world again. Thank you for being your best on the mat so that you can be your best off the mat. The spirit in me honors the spirit in you. Namaste.